Priya Verma, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to today's session. Joining us today is an inspiring change maker whose work is preserving India's rich agriculture heritage while empowering small farmers. He has dedicated years to protecting and reviving traditional seed varieties, ensuring their survival for future generations. We are honored to have with us Ms. Soumya Balasubramaniam, co-founder and director at Huga Seeds. Soumya left her IT career to work on ground-level solutions for climate change and sustainable agriculture. Through Huga Seeds, she is working with small farmers across Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, ensuring the production and preservation of native seeds. Welcome to Krishi Jagran, Soumya.
Thank you so much.
So, Soumya, your journey from an IT professional to a social entrepreneur working in seed conservation is fascinating. What inspired you to take this path?
So myself, I'm from an agriculture family background. So my parents' primary livelihood is agriculture. But as you see that none of the farmers in India want their children to become a farmer themselves. So it was a challenge for me when I said that I want to become a farmer or pursue my career in agriculture. My family never agreed to it. So I had to continue taking an IT job, and being a woman, marriage is another pressure. So a lot of aspects like this. And then when I was continuing my IT profession, I thought like what I'm doing is not very meaningful, or I'm not feeling satisfied with my job. So what I could do differently, and that's when I thought like I can do social work from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Bombay. And again, I chose agriculture sector in that, and started. So see, with seeds, native seeds, collecting seeds was just a hobby initially. When I got the seeds back to my village, I started saving them, each one of them, and then I was working in the Himalayas for almost like more than a year, and then that's when I saw like a grandma sitting in a village and counting like 40 plus varieties of rajma in one place. So surprised to see like there's so many varieties of just rajma alone. Like think about the species of vegetables that we are missing in the market. Why don't we get all of these in the market? So that's when this whole question, it made me so sleepless when I started to getting to know more about native seeds that's not there right now, and why conserving native seeds is so important. And I landed up starting Huga Seeds as a social enterprise, and now we have a collective of farmers through whom we produce these native seeds, and produce in mass at scale to promote it among farmers.
Your journey is quite adventurous and inspiring.
Thank you.
So, traditional seeds holds immense value for biodiversity and sustainable farming. Could you share why preserving native seeds variety is so important and how Huga Seeds is making an impact? And also, you can showcase your like your inputs as well.
Right. So the thing is, with native seeds, see the hybrid seeds are bred to for a particular geography or for a particular thing. But native seeds has the ability to combat climate change. So climate change is a global issue, and it's been threatening, and we are all facing that right now. Like on a day-to-day basis, daily life is able to see that climate change is happening, and we could see like unseasonal rainfall and heavy heat and drought conditions, and every day newspaper is so flooded with a lot of climate change issues and problems. So that's where native seeds play a very very crucial role in terms of food security and food production and agriculture. So native seeds have the ability to withstand climate change in terms, say for example, I can show you a variety that is local to our region, which this is a variety of pumpkin kaddu that you say it as in Hindi. So this is a small pumpkin variety which yields like just one plant yields more than 40 fruits. It's so high yielding, but then like it's not available in the market. Why these seeds are not available in the market is a quest. And when I started working more on this, I found that there's been a huge market gap between accessibility to native seeds itself. Even when a farmer wants to start producing or start using native seeds at scale for their vegetable production, there's no accessibility to native seeds. Suppose a farmer in our own village wanted to grow this variety of pumpkin, which is native to that particular region. It's not there. So when I started, like there were a lot of farmers who came, and we had a local seed festival that happened, and just in a span of 1 hour, all of the seed packets got sold out. So it was like, what's the demand, the kind of demand that farmers, it's there for native seeds. It's so underestimated and so undervalued. So now it's like we have like more than 200 plus varieties, and many of these varieties have the commercial viability, which the farmers can use for commercial production of vegetables. And again, this climate change can never be an issue when we go for native seeds. While and we have also tested so many of our varieties of tomatoes and potatoes that grow aerially. Not just potatoes, usually it grows under the soil, but we have a variety of potato which is native to Kerala, which grows in the air, like it grows above the soil. So it's very high yielding again. So we see these varieties which are high yielding and have the potential. We're trying to bring commercialize it, get our legal certifications done, and get to the market. So now there are a lot of farmers who are associated with this, more than 50 plus in our own village, who produce these seeds for us in a small scale. And for every seed packet sold at Huga, we give a fair share for the seed keepers. We call them as seed keepers, who are the ancient seed savers. So seed saving was actually a part of a culture. It was never seeds were never bought from the market. So we lost a culture basically. So now farmers have started saving the seeds, and now we don't have to depend on market for the seeds, and we have our own native varieties, which is very high yielding. And some of these varieties we've also tested for nutritional value, and we found that the market based hybrid tomatoes and the tomato variety that we have, which is called as the Trefil Togo tomato, so we see that the protein content is much higher. So even in terms of nutritional value, the native seeds, native vegetables are really very rich in nutrition compared to the hybrid market. So when we talk about native seeds, it's not just about seeds. It's about a lot of other factors like malnutrition, the nutritional aspects, and the food security and climate change. All of it is so interlinked. It's not just seed. It's a lot of other interrelated aspects that we miss out on. And I can also share some of the varieties that we have, like even brinjal alone. We have like more than 18 plus varieties of brinjal. Say for example, this is a variety which is called as Mattugulla brinjal, which is specific to a region called Mattu in Udupi. So this is another green round brinjal which is native to Dindukal region in Tamil Nadu, and we have this purple striped and green long, white long, white round. This is a variety specific to Manaparai region. So this, I'm just showcasing few handful of varieties that we have. Like we have more than these varieties of brinjal. You can look at our website like hugaseeds.com, where you will find each of these collections: brinjal seed collection, beetroot seed collection, and corn collections. A lot of them, like even carrots. There are carrots that grows in hot regions as well, which is a Japanese variety, but heirloom again, like 1,000 plus years old, which is called as Shinkuruda. A lot of it actually. Yeah.
Quite insightful. And yes, climate change is real,
Hmm.
as you have mentioned as well. So, like in today's time, we are not able to enjoy the winter like our parents were. That's true.
Right. Mm.
So, moving ahead, you have traveled across India and saved over 200 plus traditional varieties, right? So, what were some of the most unique or rare variety you came across, and how did you manage to conserve them?
Yeah, we actually have many rare varieties, including you must be knowing palak, right? Spinach that we consume. Like everyone must know about this. So there is a variety of spinach that we recently identified, which is also posted in our Instagram. Huga Seed Keepers Collective is our Instagram page, where you can find it, which is called as Madeira wine. It's a perennial spinach variety. You can just consume it raw. So I can show the tuber that we have of Madeira wine to you, like at the end of the this thing. So it's a perennial crop. Like it produces so much of spinach, we don't have to buy the spinach from market. So there are certain varieties like this, which is perennial. Like when we consider home gardening or kitchen gardening, you don't have to grow these seed or sow these seeds again and again for your yield. You can just sow these seeds once and it gives yield throughout the year. We have this Sadabahar chili, which is the local, which is a local selection variety by Pusa, and which is perennial again, very high yielding variety of chili. You can also do dense plantation with that chili variety. And we have tiny snake gourd, a snake gourd variety which is just tiny in shape. Nowadays, from the customer point of view, even the small pumpkin that I was telling you, it's very small in size, like this much. You cut it once and you don't have to store it in the fridge. You can just use it at once, right? Like you don't have to store it and then keep it because it's huge in size. Usually pumpkins are so huge in size that you can only consume half of it and the remaining half have to be stored in the refrigerator. So things like that. And apart from that, we have cluster rich gourd. We have this beautiful truffle du togo tomato, which we have been like promoting at scale with farmers, and now farmers have started cultivating in acres here. So a lot of varieties actually. We have this Pune Kira cucumber from native to Pune, and very high yielding variety of cucumber. Since it's summer, I wanted to talk about this specifically. And we have green meat radish, black radish which is actually black in color, and again carrots. We have black carrot as well, like say, carrots are like so many colors of carrots, like yellow, red, and orange, and black carrot. See, this specific variety of carrot I want to tell you about. Carrots have never been orange in color. British actually got the orange carrots in the market. Our natural native indigenous carrots are black in color actually. And now diseases are like, spreading like anything. Cancer is very prominent, and the kind of vegetable, when you go to a hospital, and for cancer patients, the doctor suggests them to take all colorful vegetables and fruits, dark red color or black colored vegetables. So these have that, cancer curing properties. Highly, it's very very good for cancer patients to consume black carrot juices. And it's very rarely seen, very rarely grown. Now we have the farmers who produce these seeds for us, specifically in the hill region of Kodaikanal here in Tamil Nadu. So now we are conserving these varieties, and now and the yield is also very good. Taste is very very unique compared to the other carrots. And we have a very very ancient variety of beetroot as well, which is called Chiagio, which has a beautiful pattern of when you cut the vegetable into two. Yeah, many of the varieties like this, I can keep talking about it. It's like an ocean to work on this. Yeah.
Like I was also not aware about the black radish. Obviously, black carrot is now people are aware due to the kanji drink. But
Right.
yeah, it was quite informative for me and for our viewers as well. So, small farmers often struggle to access high quality native seeds. How does Huga Seeds support them, and what role do these farmers play in your initiatives?
So initially, when I got these seeds, as a hobby, I started, as I said earlier. When I was working in the Himalayas, that's when the seeds collection journey started, because I was so fascinated with the colors and the pattern that the seed had. And I took all of them just to show to my mother that, see, there's so many varieties of seeds and we don't get to see all of this. And then that's when, like, this whole thing about searching for seeds started, and it started becoming more and more every day. And I shared like few of this to my friends and the nearby farmers, and everyone were like, you have so many of these seeds, like, let me. And it just got spread like a fire in my village, and many of them started asking for seeds in my own village. I thought, like, oh my god, this is like so much demand for this, and why is it not available? And that's when I got to understand what are the different types of seeds. I completed a course on seed technology out of my own passion for seeds. I completed a course in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University on seed technology. I understood like this tiny little being, which we called a seed, produces so much for all of us, and it's the whole reason of our existence and every life being on planet. And with farmers, when I started growing all of this, each of them started seeing different vegetables, and they were so attracted and surprised. I've seen all of these during my childhood, and now it's not there. That was the first thing. Anyone who comes and looks at a farm and all these vegetables, the first thing that they say is, I've seen all this during my childhood and now it's not there. So like, why it is not there now? And if we don't preserve or conserve this right now, or if it's not being used, so what will happen to the future, and what will our children even have to consume? So hardly they'll get to know. Like, even just in tomatoes, we had more than 6,000 plus varieties of tomatoes. Paddy, we had more than 3 lakh plus varieties of paddy, and each of it had its own nutritional value. So once I started giving some of these seeds, I shared with the farmers nearby, and it started spreading. I thought this is the need of the hour, and we need to work on this very professionally. And I registered the enterprise, started working on it slowly, slowly, slowly. And now we have more than 50 plus small farmers. We have our own contract and process of how we work with them. We have signed a consultancy agreement with Tamil Nadu Agriculture University and a research station over here. And we train the farmers on quality traditional seeds production. We also work on research projects on this. We also take CSR projects on this to set up seed banks in the tribal villages. And for every seed packet, as I said, like, we give a very fair share price for the seed packets that is sold at Huga Seed Keepers Collective. And apart from that, we give a very fair price for the seed keepers who produce the seeds for us. It's not just the seed packets, it's also the production part. We take it very, very meticulously. So that way our farmers are very, very happy. And initially, whoever has resisted against this whole concept, farmers now think that only commercial varieties are high yielding. When I went and spoke to everyone about that native seeds are high yielding, and there are specific varieties in native, not every native variety is high yielding, but some varieties are really high yielding, and we can choose that variety which is native to our own region, and why not go for that? And it is also very highly nutritional. And we can definitely combat climate change with that. We don't have to use a lot of pesticides, and a lot of water consumption is really reduced when we compare it with the hybrid seed production and hybrid vegetable growing itself. So I started working with a few of the organic farmers who have already certified their farmers organic. And slowly that impact was seen by nearby farmers, and many of them started asking me, like, how can I also be a part of this? And we started very small, like, 5 cents, 10 cents. We have a demo plot where they can come and look at the yield of the particular variety, and then they have the confidence to start growing. So that's how it all starts, and it keeps going now.
Well, you are really quite passionate. Being an agriculture student, like I have an agriculture background too, so I want to this conversation keep going and going, but we have a time strain. So finally, as a women entrepreneur in agriculture and climate action, what has your journey been like, and what message would you like to share with aspiring change makers, especially women looking to make a difference?
I think women should follow your heart. See, when I came from an agriculture background, but I, especially in the southern part, in our state of Tamil Nadu, like, there are not much women farmers. Like in Uttarakhand, I've seen, like, 75% of their primary livelihood source is from agriculture. And I see a lot of women farmers, because now it's the scenario that men migrate to the cities in search of job and employment opportunities, and then women do a lot of farm work. But it's the ulta opposite in my place. It's like, um, women children especially, you can never tag yourself as a farmer. It's not there at all. So, like, why is it? And when, as a human, like, food is the most important thing. Three times food is the basic thing, right? So why is it not considered as something? And being a woman, we have more power to withstand a lot of things actually. Can manage family, can manage profession, can manage children, can manage home, a lot of things. So we are versatile and multitasking people. So, like, we should never feel less confident or low about our own self. So whatever it might be, if you're passionate about it, just go for it. But we need to have an actionable plan, and that actionable plan should have an impact, without which, see, for example, in case of Huga Seed Keepers Collective, there was a lot of challenge when I came back, quitting my job as an IT professional, and then I did my masters in social work. None of them know about like data and stuff, social sciences. I'm coming from a village where none of them know about this or Bombay. So it was just that, this girl, like, why is she quitting a job and going all the way to Bombay to do her masters. And TISS is the top university in India for social work. And I mean, I was a gold medalist in social work. Like, I bagged a lot of awards that year, because I was so passionate about community work. And regardless of what the villagers said or anyone said, I chose what I wanted to do. I was very strong about it. And then when I came back, I saw this pressing problem that has to be resolved in terms of accessibility to native seeds, in terms of climate action. So even if a girl or a person who wanted to work for anything that you wanted to do, if we are trying to solve any problem, it's going to be a success. Like, we need to understand what the problem is, work towards the solution of that, pilot the solution, and see like where do we stand. And once people start seeing the impact, it automatically gets successful. So that's what happened in my case. Like, initially it was so difficult for me to penetrate into the market or penetrate into the villagers minds itself to go and say it or talk about native seeds, because there was a lot of resistance there, because hybrids have been like so spread that creating that change at ground level was so difficult. So just the aspiration and dream, or just being having that strength to do alone is not sufficient. We need to have that clear investment plans, our financial standpoint. What are we going to do in the first 3 years? It matters a lot. And change takes a lot of time. It needs a lot of patience. So it's not an overnight thing. So it needs a lot of time and consistent inputs and reiterations. Do work, act. It's more like an action research project. A startup is more, that's how I see it. You act, you do it, you plan, and you reiterate whatever you're doing again and again to see like where do you stand. And now they are very sustainable as a social enterprise, Huga Seed Keepers Collective, and I am working full time with this company of mine. And everyone is seeing upon this as something very, very big. So that is the success that I'm seeing. And a lot of people across India, not just in my village, now across India, they write to me over email and ask us like, how can we be associated with you as a seed keeper? How can we grow seeds for you? So it means that many of them wanted to be a seed keeper or wanted to be a part of this movement of seed saving and conservation, especially in terms of biodiversity conservation. As all of us know, like, biodiversity is so important when we deal with a lot of global issues like climate change. So native seeds play a very important role in this. Yeah.
Soumya, your dedication to preserving traditional seed and supporting small farmer is truly inspiring. It has been an absolute pleasure learning about your work and the impact of Huga seeds. We wish you a continued success in creating a sustainable future for Indian agriculture.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to add that, like, anyone who wants to buy seeds from us, you can go have a look at our website, which is www.hooga seeds seeds hoogaseeds.com. In the shop section, you'll be able to see a lot of categories. Even if you're not buying, I would just suggest you to just go scroll through our page just to see like the kind of varieties or the vegetables that we are missing on our plate. Yeah. And also
Okay.
our Instagram page, specifically, it's Huga Seed Keepers Collective, Huga Seed underscore Keepers underscore Collective. We keep sharing a lot of stories about heirloom varieties and where it comes from, origination, how to grow, all of those tidbits through our Instagram page. Please do follow and support our work. Thank you.
We wish you all the best for life for conserving the Indian agriculture via traditional seeds. Thank you so much for joining with us,
Thank you.
Soumya.
Thank you.